Hey everyone, Kenny here. I'm in Jackson Hole, Wyoming at the Tetons behind me. I love this place. This video I'm going to tell you what I've done this year, my travels. I've been all over South America as far as the very bottom. I've been to 24, 25 states here in the US, just about half the states in the US, and it's only halfway through 2026 right now. But it's been a pretty good year. I'm going into my 20th year of living on the road. Living out of my backpack full time, kind of crazy. And this is a good place to be because back in 2007 when I left New York City, I cut across the country directly to here to kind of start off my adventure. So here I am again, 19 years later, beautiful Jackson. It's pretty awesome. I'll get into my stories if you want to catch up a little more regularly. I don't always put out videos. Try to a little bit more, but my podcast, Freestyle Travel Show, every month at least, sometimes twice a month, I update that podcast talking about my travels, sometimes interviewing other people and just talking about travel topics. So Freestyle Travel Show, check that out. Also Hobo Lifestyle, like this channel, on Instagram. And if you really want to support my travels, you can get on patreon.com/KennyFlannery. And I do like a micro podcast throughout the week. I'll just update after I get a bunch of interesting rides and that kind of thing. So for the cost of buying me a beer every month, you can get all that exclusive stuff and support me there. And also triphopping.com is my travel app. I think my last video was getting into that, and it's a pretty cool app. So get on there if you are traveling or you like to meet other travelers, because it's been super helpful to me. Basically, I've been making it for myself, but obviously everyone else can use it too. Triphopping.com, or get it on Android or iOS. So without further ado, I think I can even pepper in some clips and some photos from this past year, because it's been pretty awesome. So let me kind of start from the beginning. New Year's Eve, I was in the United States, Salt Lake City, and I already had a ticket to South America. So through my trip hopping app, actually, I'm able to do pretty vague flight searches. So in this case, I did United States to South America over the course of like a 2 or 3 month window. And the cheapest ticket that came up was randomly from Dallas, Texas to Lima, Peru for $103. Spirit Airlines, which is now defunct. And actually I used them to get out of South America eventually too, right before they went out of business, which was just lucky timing. So anyways, that's how I kind of started the year, was in Salt Lake City. Spent New Year's Eve with a buddy, and then came down through Nevada and Arizona, seen some friends. There was a truck driver who'd given me a ride maybe a year prior or something like that. And he said if I was ever, he does the same route like every week, Los Angeles to Texas, or Texas to Los Angeles and back. Pretty cool guy, and he had told me if I'm ever on that road again, he could give me a ride. And sure enough, there I was in Phoenix trying to get to Texas, so he gave me a ride, got me a lot of the way to Dallas. I'm hitchhiking to Dallas to catch a flight to Peru, about 400 or 500 miles away, but I got a week to get there. And yeah, I'm on I-20 somewhere. It's been a good day so far. And yeah, got to Dallas and got that flight down to Lima, Peru. Started off a little South America adventure. I've been to South America before, years ago, but just in the north, like Colombia and Ecuador. So I really wanted to get to the bottom and go to Patagonia, so that's what I did. Started in Lima, and then started making my way down through Peru. Checked out a pretty cool sand dune kind of area. There's a bunch of buggies, kind of like this one going by right here, if you can see that. Little sand dune stuff. That was cool. And then got into Chile, which was a lot of desert, so hitchhiking was kind of interesting. You know, those big barren areas. It's like hitchhiking through parts of Canada or Australia, I guess. Sometimes you wait a long time for a ride, but once someone picks you up, they're going hundreds of miles, if not thousands. So that was the case there. Finally got out of the desert in Santiago. Interestingly enough, I met some people at a hostel that I would meet like a month later there in Santiago, and kept going south. Pretty decent beer actually in South America, which was surprising because that was not the case in maybe 8 or 9 years ago, the last time I was there. So that was pretty cool. Good beers, and then finally made my way, had to get onto this like ferry to get to the Patagonia area. Made friends with the other people that were just walking. There was maybe a half dozen of us who were just like backpacking, no cars or anything. So pretty cool, making some friends there. And yeah, then just like hitchhiked through Patagonia, which is absolutely beautiful. It was a much bigger area than I thought, and it just kind of never stopped. It was just constantly looking around like, holy shit, like this is amazing everywhere. But it's supposed to be raining constantly for the next day or two and get down to like almost freezing temperatures. So I've been walking for over an hour. It's not much traffic here. And then I came across this place. And that sign says free at the bottom. So super lucky. I'm gonna be dry tonight. I got to the good part. It is absolutely awesome down here in Patagonia. Watching the sunset right now. Been hitchhiking for days. It was raining pretty good the other day, but obviously today is perfect. Been great. Saw a little trail that led to a waterfall, I thought. But somehow I wound up here, so I'm definitely gonna camp up here. Pretty awesome sunset. Hey, look at this place. There it goes. Another sundown here in Patagonia. This is right up there with New Zealand, Norway. Maybe better. Could be recency bias, but it's just been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of just this. So, having a good time. Might be in Argentina tomorrow. We'll see. We will see. Glaciers, waterfalls. Yeah, just kind of camping and hitching my way through there. Eventually cutting into Argentina and some different areas through there, and one bus pulled over, which was an interesting ride. Morning. I just slept on a totally empty bus. At sunset, it's not bad. Sunrise, rather. This bus picked me up. I didn't even stick my thumb out because it's a bus. I was walking yesterday, and they just gave me a ride. They gave me a bunch of food, and we stopped in this one town, and they got a room for the night. And you can sleep on the bus, and we're going about another 100 kilometers or something. Probably the next 15 minutes here. Pretty sweet. Keeping it moving, almost to Tierra del Fuego. And eventually I got down there to Ushuaia on like Tierra del Fuego, which is the very bottom of South America. I went as far as the road went, end of the road, and then I hiked as far as I could until couldn't even walk anymore, and it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. I always just wanted to see what that was about. So once I did that, I ended up spending a few days in that town, Ushuaia. It's pretty cool. Met some interesting people, and then started hitchhiking up. Another big, long 18-wheeler ride some guy I was with for a couple days. A lot of just desert stretch getting up there to Buenos Aires, which is where I finally settled down for a few days. Kind of like Buenos Aires. Good beer as well. So that was cool. And then from there I went into Uruguay, mostly along the coast, and then decided to go up into Brazil. Sort of the south of Brazil there. Stayed with someone on Trust Routes in a town there. That was a pretty good few days. And from Brazil, I wanted to head to Paraguay, and there was this big waterfall system there that was huge. I think some of the biggest waterfalls in the world. Absolutely incredible. I almost didn't do that because it cost a little bit of money to get in there, and I was running pretty low on cash at this point. And I'm really glad that I spent the whatever it was to get in there, because it was awesome, like really, really cool. You're probably looking at pictures and videos right now. I'm overlaying if I'm editing this correctly. And cut across Paraguay, which was pretty uninteresting, to be honest. Not much going on, a lot of just grass and kind of farmland. So cut across there into Bolivia, which was much more interesting geographically, a lot more mountainous, and actually some of the roads I hitchhiked on, I was like, oh shit, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of here. Bolivia, dude. Trying to go to this town called Sucre because some woman in Paraguay told me it was really nice. And it's going the way Google offline maps is saying to go, and this is a good part of the road. Still like 8 hours away or more, driving wise. Trying to make it. Ripped my shorts at one point. It's just a little rip. Still rocking them. Not a lot of cars on this road. There's been giant puddles that you probably couldn't even drive through, so I kind of get it. Hoping this links up to a better road. It's been a slow couple days. But luckily, you know, someone always comes along. I was in the back of a truck that kind of saved me for the sketchiest part of that, and the most beautiful part. Got through Bolivia, stopped in some of the cities there, enjoyed that, and roundabout finally got my way up to Peru. There was a cheap ticket from Lima to Fort Lauderdale, and I was wanting to get back to the States to see some people, make a new backpack, and had this idea of going to the casino and making some money for the next run, which did not work out. I got to Cusco on the way, and then finally back to Lima, where the Spirit Airlines flight got me to Florida, and then Spirit Airlines went out of business like a week later. So if I had not gotten that flight, the next cheapest flight would have been hundreds of dollars more. And yeah, I was down to just a few $100s, which I lost pretty quickly, immediately, at some casino in Florida where I thought I was gonna make, you know, get myself up to like a nice, super comfortable couple $1,000 range, but instead I got myself down to a $20 range. But that turned around right away. I went and hitchhiked from Fort Lauderdale, where I landed, to see some friends in Tampa area, St. Petersburg, Florida. And my friend there, her and her husband do Uber Eats on bicycles, and they had an extra bike, and they're like, you should try to sign up. And I thought it'd be like a big process or whatever, but I was signed up on Uber Eats like in under an hour. I had to like take a picture of my ID or something like that. And yeah, so they let me use their extra bicycle, and I spent a few days hanging out with them, riding around, making money through that Uber Eats thing, which is actually pretty fun. St. Petersburg is pretty flat, so it's just like biking around the city, enjoying it, grabbing food, and then just getting to walk through these different like apartment buildings and bike through these different parts of town I wouldn't have gone to otherwise. So I was able to cash up a little bit there, and then I kept it moving, hitchhiked to Mississippi. I got some friends there with a sewing machine and stuff, and I'd already gotten some fabric on the way there, so I made a new backpack, which is awesome. My friend there is a photographer too, so she did a little photo shoot of the backpack, which I guess you're looking at now too. That was pretty awesome. So that's the backpack I got now. It's like a variation of the bivy pack design that I've made. If y'all have seen my other videos, you know what that's about. I think I have a video, I think it's called like Pandemic Pack or something. So this one is more similar to that design. It's been great. Kind of relatively new fabric that's durable, ultralight, all that good stuff. I made it smaller than my other backpacks so I can get on like these budget airlines without even having a carry-on technically. I made it the size of like the personal item that like, you know, like Ryanair, Spirit back when they existed, Frontier, Breeze, all these airlines that are pretty cheap but then charge you extra for even a carry-on. This gets around that problem. So that was great, and just catching up with my friends there, bouncing in and out of New Orleans from Mississippi, photo shoots, and just catching up with random friends that happen to be in New Orleans. New Orleans is one of the best cities in the United States, in the world. It's awesome. Good food, party time, all the time. I love it. From there, my buddy was driving to North Carolina, and at that point I was wanting to see a friend in Indianapolis and just kind of head north for the summer. The United States in the north during the summer times is beautiful, and kind of not so much in the winter. Well, it's beautiful in the winter. It's just hard to hitchhike and stuff, you know. It's cold. It's not hard to hitchhike. It's hard if you get stuck and have to camp. And I'm good to about like freezing, but much below that, Don't have the gear for it. So anyways, that was the idea, and I ended up riding with him all the way to Asheville, North Carolina, and we did some fun stuff on the way. I caught up with an old couch surfing. A buddy used to work for couch surfing there in North Carolina. Two friends actually, and good beers, obviously, North Carolina. And then I made my way up to the northern U.S. Caught up with a friend in Indianapolis, just hitchhiking the whole way. Caught up with him. Continued on to Michigan, catching up with a friend there. Went to northern Michigan. Just some beautiful spots, and I hit it at the exact perfect time, right before the peak of summer, where all the bugs and the people are flooding through. I kind of snuck in that nice little week or two before, where the weather just got good, but the bugs weren't out, so that was super nice. And then slipped down to Minneapolis, caught up with a friend there. That's a good thing about the United States. It's like I've just got friends every like few hundred miles that I really want to see. So once I get on a path like that, it's easy to just like stop. And obviously summertime too. It's when it's weather like this, I can just kind of camp and all the in-betweens. So caught up with that friend, and then I caught up with a friend in Iowa. And then there was someone who reached out to me who's like seen some of my videos and blogs before. They're in Kansas City, and he'd messaged me a few times, and I'm like, oh, let me drop down, see him. Did that, then cut over to Denver, where I set up a dog sitting thing through trustedhousesitters.com, which is this website that somehow I got a ton of free credit on. I think my referral code just got out in the wild and a bunch of people used it, so now I'm like, have free membership there. I think until like 2029 or something like that, which is cool. So I used that for a week, and then there's another girl across town who had a cat needed watching, so I watched the cat. So I was in Denver working on like the trip hopping app. Again, check that out, trip hopping. If you haven't watched my last video on trip hopping, the app is really cool, and I just keep making it better. So even if you have checked it out, check it out now, because there's literally stuff I've done in the last week that is awesome. It's pretty much like 3 sections. There's explore, stay, and go. And each section is meant to be like super comprehensive. So the go section is like awesome because it's got everything. If you say you're in Jackson and you want to go to Salt Lake City, for example, it's going to show you the best hitchhiking spots. It's going to show you any Craigslist ride share, anyone on trip hopping is posted to ride, how much a bus ticket costs, what bus that is, how much a flight costs, pretty much every possible mode of transportation, how much it's going to cost in gas if you're driving. It's awesome. So anyways, yeah, check out trip hopping. And yeah, made it a little bit better in Denver. And then from Denver, I wanted to come here where I am. I've got a family that lives like an hour south of here, and actually they stay right there camping, walking right from here on the weekends as like camp ambassadors. My mom and stepdad here. So wanted to come up here and hitchhike from Denver to here in a couple days. Not too bad. I got a great ride from a truck driver the first day, and that guy was from Afghanistan and had spent like 40 grand. He came from like a real rich family, but like the Taliban was after him, or his dad or something. And yeah, they came to the US. Like, I don't know how that works. Like, if it was, I think it was illegal, but you know, there's like loopholes so you can like do stuff. I don't know. The most interesting part of his story was first he flew to Brazil, and then they flew to like right before the Darien Gap. And if you ever heard of the Darien Gap, it's the one section where there's no real road. You can drive from Alaska to Ushuaia, where I just was and just told you about, the bottom of South America. But the one gap you can't drive is the Darien Gap. It's like 90 miles between Panama and Colombia. And he hiked it. So I was like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, we spent 3 days like hiking that. And I always thought, and I guess it is supposed to be like thick jungle and, you know, sketchy people in there, and toads that you can accidentally brush up on and they can kill you because they're poisonous, all kinds of shit. But he's like, yeah, I just smoked a bunch of weed and walked through it. I'm like, what? Were you like bushwhacking with machetes? He's like, no, just followed the trail. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm working on old information. But I guess there's lots of people just like walking through there. So that was pretty interesting. Anyway, so he got me into Wyoming, and the next day I continued and got up to here, to where I want to be. So I've been here the past week or so, hanging out with family between an hour south of here, where my mom lives, and up here here at Tetons. So it's been pretty awesome. So that catches you up on 2026, what I've been up to. I'll try to get some more videos up and stuff like this. Obviously check out the Instagram. I tend to post there a little bit more just because I'm posting shorter stuff. Oh, there's a bunch of deer chasing each other. This place is great. And yeah, so that's about it. Hope you guys are doing great. Oh, and the podcast too, Freestyle Travel Show. And Patreon, patreon.com/Kenny Flannery. That's a big one for me because basically you can buy me a beer a month if you like watching videos and hearing about my travels. It helps. So that's it. If you can ever get to Jackson, it's pretty awesome. So have a good one, you guys. I'll see you down the road.